Peace. Want to talk about the Bumbleclot Billionaires and how it is that I, a Caucasian woman, mother of many daughters, came to love, honor, respect, and study from the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. So people often ask me, like, how can you study from, people, they hate white people, all this stuff. And so I do go through back and forth of that's actually just the slander and propaganda against them, because they have a very precise mathematical, scientific theology that nobody else is offering. And back to the Bumbleclot Billionaire. So I was very interested in health food from an early age. Not the earliest of ages. I used to go into the health food store with some neighbors and think this place smells like stinky cheese, right? Like, it didn't appeal to me. But when I got older and I was in middle school, I was in detention because I was acting out in school, and the counselor there was really into organic living and working out, and so she would share her snacks, and she shared her snacks with me. And I remember thinking well, I can't find these at my mom's, where my mom shops, so where do you get these? She told me at the health food store. So I went back in after many years, but this time thinking, this is cool. I'm going to get myself some organic amaranth graham crackers and go in there and show her, that I'm cool too. I got organic food. So that's how it all started. And then it came down to me learning about, wait a minute, so if this is the health food, the organic food, then what's in all those spots over there? So is all that food full of poison and harmful carcinogens and things that are really bad for us? And then I started thinking about health and healing. One of my closest aunts was diagnosed with breast cancer. I think I was about 12, but she really suffered from my 14 to 21. She just slowly, was killed by the treatment. And again, I was why is medicine like this? What's going on? And every time that I searched, I came to the same names. And it comes down to, in different ages, it's the same names. Some of them are still going strong, and some of them are new names. But it always comes down to the Bumbleclot Billionaires if you follow the money. And the reason why I bring it up in connection with the Nation of Islam's mathematical theology and the theology of time that they teach is because I had no previous affinity to any one spiritual discipline or doctrine or anything. None of it really actually made sense, right? So because of the educational system and the programming from Hollywood and all this stuff, we're taught to be very cynical, or we're taught to only see things in a certain kind of way. But I always was we're up against some serious corruption. I didn't have the articulation of we're up against Satan, right? I didn't talk like that. But when I looked at the one hand of here's all the things in my value system that are really concerning to me right now, right? So much so that I'm talking to you out here in a hoop house because we founded a farm to grow pure chemical foods for people, mainly ourselves and our family, and then building up that knowledge, able to, to feed the people in around us. We sell at a market 30 miles. People within 30 miles sell at the market. And so I was wait a minute, there's a real overlap here of things that are going wrong, and nobody is guarding the hen house, right? I was just checking on the chicken. So you guard things that are valuable to you, and you really watch over them. So when I, as a young woman, was really analyzing what the hell is going on with the food being poisoned, the water being poisoned, and the medicine being such a chemical concoction that it causes harm on a cellular level, and to even down since the beginning of the nation, right? George Washington was killed by his physicians bloodletting him. So they there's this is real in the dark kind of modality. And yes, many things have advanced, and for if you have trauma and you need trauma, some of the best things to seek help from, right? Bring me the arnica after the surgery and after the trauma care. However, if you want to have a thriving, healthy person who is made of trillions of cells, that is nourished, where the cells all have that innate intelligence and vital force, you don't want to go to them, right? You want, holistic health starts from the soil. We are connected to the earth. We come from the earth. We are connected to the earth. So you can't have these people who do not have a holistic view, who are thinking of enriching themselves and controlling humanity at the same time that they have a very negative viewpoint upon making huge decisions for yourself. And so I was always just felt really disempowered. We are never going to stop playing whack-a-mole. It's just oh, this poison, oh, it's glyphosate. Oh, it's, it's this pesticide. It's that pesticide. It's this chemical content. It's no, this is never going to end. And who can take down this level of evil? So when I heard the teachings of the Nation of Islam, well, at first it didn't seem like it was for me. And their primary mission is to, is not to go after the Caucasian who's living well in a country that was built for them, who's had privilege for multiple generations and is doing well. There is to save the lost found members of the Nation of Islam. That's who they're going for. So you have to be able to translate, right? So I was able to translate. There was some blessing in my life that things aligned, that I was able to translate, that I was able to not take it personally, that I was able to listen to lectures that weren't necessarily meant for me, but I wasn't forbidden from hearing. And so I learned to interpret that, to say, this is a valuable thing regardless of how it hits me, emotionally at first. I'm going to learn to develop skills so I can listen and I can hear what's for me and I can acknowledge what's going forward. So the coming of Master Fard Muhammad and the teachings that he brought, the supreme knowledge and wisdom that he taught the Nation of Islam by raising up the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad as a student and teaching him for 3.5 years, day and night and day, and being very close to him during that period and completely transforming his mind and giving him enough teachings that he was able to teach for, the 40 plus years absent his teacher, and to produce what he produced with the Nation of Islam, to me, is an immensely valuable thing that, even though I had no idea what it was, I realized that it's pretty hard to organize people to do anything, even people that have means to do something, even people that are not, in a condition that they've been very, very mistreated, where their ancestors have been human trafficked, and there's been all kind of trauma and death and injury done upon them. It's hard to organize any group of people. But when you have that many things that are stacked against you and that many obstacles to your rise, to see what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad accomplished was something that I really took notice of and just committed to trying to gain an understanding. And he was the only one that really spoke to that issue of the Bumbleclot billionaire, right? So if we have this wise Satan who, without people even really knowing, every day and night, you're thinking about your family, you're thinking about, what you have to do in your life, how to keep everything afloat. And then these same Bumbleclot billionaires are meeting in, forums and conferences all over the world to plot and plan 5 years in advance, 10 years in advance. Here's what's going on with this population and that population. They're all meeting. They're talking about you. They're talking about me. They're talking about what they're going to do, how they're going to block your access, because, wow, the internet, gosh, people are researching. People are realizing, we're poisoning the food. They don't want to buy our GMOs. They don't want to take this. They don't want to do that. They're waking up, quick, let's pass laws. Let's make it so much harder to do everything. Let's, do all this stuff. And so the Nation of Islam, while it might seem very strange to people when they first encounter me, you seem like a sweet person. No, I'm not. I wouldn't be. The nice qualities that you see are because of the patient teachings from the Nation of Islam and people of faith that I'm able to receive much better, because I see it through the lens of my teacher. I've been taught by the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan to respect people of all religions, and that once I kind of have this lens of truth of how I view things, that I hear things so much more deeply. I don't reject things I would have rejected before. I don't think I know things that I used to think I know. I really am able to, if I come across as sweet, praise be to Allah, that is not through anything of myself, right? I am tenacious. I am very loyal to seeking truth, right? I'm a truth sleuth. That is what I'm always after, is is it the truth? And that and a sweet personality don't go together. They never have. So I can be, I can be sweet, but I'm not of myself sweet. I don't have that quality. That is not in my nature. I'll just be honest. And so I saw, 4 things in a really short period of time that were knocking the Nation of Islam, and I know that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad teaches that every knock is a boost. However, it was really concerning to me, because I was if they're turning up the propaganda machine on the Nation of Islam, trying to get everybody divided and talking about this and talking about that and turning on each other, The Bumbleclot billionaires are the ones who profit, and we're the ones who lose. They're playing chess, not checkers. And so this clip of Vandana Shiva and Robert Kennedy Jr. really just drove home to me the theology and the teachings of the Nation of Islam. And I just, wanted to come out here in the Hoop House and share what I have learned from them, and how we would be very unwise to believe the slander and to reject the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and what he is communicating to all of humanity in this very serious hour. At a certain point, Noah shut the ark. And I highly, highly recommend us all to really meditate on what that means and to take that in, because they're playing chess, not checkers. And the time that it takes for us through other sources to truly understand what's going on, we're going to be in a very tight corner. And as it is, even right now, there's a lot of work to do. But I just really maintain, peace in the idea of that anything that Satan can do, that God can do it better. So that all these terribleness that just seems like it's so stacked against humanity, oh my goodness, it's just curtains, like we're not gonna be able to take this, that is where the beauty of the mathematical theology of the Nation of Islam really rises to the top. It is the cream of the crop of theology. And so I would just say, toughen up and listen to things you may not want to hear. If you immediately say like, oh, they're being racist against white people, or oh my goodness, just toughen up. Like stop reacting emotionally and realize what a situation you're in. If you're drowning and someone is shouting to you from the shore, would you really be like super critical of like, don't talk to me like that? Like, no, a shark is behind you. Do you want somebody to talk all soft and sweet and be all concerned about your feelings and like politically correctly tell you that there is, a fish of great size behind you and da-da-da? No, like, get out of the water. There's a shark. You want to know, you want to hear it. So anyway, that's a little bit about the Bumbleclot billionaires and the mathematical theology of the Nation of Islam from the perspective of a Caucasian woman with many daughters. Peace.